Welcome to Persistent Purpose with MJ Hunter. I am your host, Coach MJ. I am a global speaker, a business and success coach, an event producer, a graphic designer, and all things serial entrepreneur. I want to welcome you back to this amazing podcast. Last week, we had a little bit of a snafu with our text, so I hope that we are coming through loud and clear today. We're trying out a new streaming platform, and last week, I don't know what happened, but the the streaming, the video was not giving the quality that I would like. So if you watched that episode, I apologize. Actually, I'm going out here right now to try to check and see if the live stream is the quality that I would hope that it would be. But either way, we are moving forward, and we're not going to let anything stop us. So today we're going to be talking about the power of pivoting, 9 keys to reinventing your purpose as you grow. When we think in terms of a pivot, we think about shifting directions, changing course. And a lot of times, especially at my big age, I know y'all thought I was 21. I know, but I'm not. I'm 21 plus a whole bunch more. But a lot of times at my big age, it can be tough to be willing to pivot. There's all these messages that we tell ourselves about why we need to continue doing what we're doing, why we're not willing to take a chance, take a risk. And so today we're going to be talking about 9 steps or mindset shifts that you can make to help you when it's time to pivot. Because I think a lot of times we know it's time to pivot, but we're just not willing to, for some of the reasons we're going to talk about today. So let's get into it. So the first one is I want you to differentiate between purpose and path. Your purpose is the why behind what you do, but there can be many paths to get to the same purpose. Okay. You can have a purpose of, changing the world. Maybe you're in the space of wanting to change the world from a financial standpoint. Maybe you want to help underserved communities to come up from a financial standpoint, but there could be many paths to that. Maybe it's a financial literacy course. Maybe it's changing legislation as far as what types of programming and resources are poured into a community. Maybe you make donations to these communities. There's many paths to get to a certain purpose. And I don't want you to feel like when you change the how that you are somehow changing the why. Okay. The idea that when you are pivoting, you're not abandoning. That's what can hold us back from making changes. We can feel like, well, I said I want to do this. I don't want to be a quitter. I want to stick to something. And the idea of sticking to something, that can keep us stuck. Sticking to something can keep us stuck, of course. But the idea of not wanting to be a quitter, of wanting to be consistent and persistent, sometimes can keep us from knowing when it's time to make a pivot, which is going to be our next point. But don't think that you're abandoning your why just because the what might change. Someone who is in the space of helping others feel confident, you might shift from being a personal trainer, actually in the weeds, helping people with their exercise, to becoming a motivational speaker. That does not mean that they are not pursuing their purpose. That means that the path has changed. And just now, like I mentioned before, knowing the signs that it's time to pivot, this is our second key for knowing when. And a lot of those signals can be what might have led you to find this podcast, feeling stagnant. Maybe you feel misaligned in your job, or maybe this isn't job related. Maybe this is in your personal life. Maybe you just feel unfulfilled. Maybe the direction that your business is going just doesn't feel right, and you're no longer excited about it. You're no longer fulfilled by it in the way that you were. See, that could be a sign that it's not that you're quitting or giving up. Maybe you were alive and thriving before. Maybe you were excited by the work and invigorated by it, and then that changed. Sometimes it can be external to the business or external to the cause, where you get the push that makes you feel like you no longer want to do it. But that doesn't mean that those feelings are any less valid, whether it's coming from within you or whether it's coming from within the business, whether it's coming from outside. When you no longer feel, you feel like maybe you've hit a plateau or you feel uninspired, those are signs. Maybe you feel burnt out. Those are signs that it might be time to pivot. Maybe you're in the boutique space and you used to love retail and now you don't love it anymore. Maybe now it's time for you to shift into the coaching space or shift into something completely different. It doesn't mean that you are abandoning what you want to do. Those signs that you no longer want to do it. Life is short. Maybe it's time for you to be a consultant to other small businesses. That doesn't mean you've given up. Know those signs, those feelings of burnout, those feelings of being uninspired, unfulfilled. It's a drudgery. It's a burden. You're not proving anything to anybody by forcing yourself to keep moving when you no longer want to keep moving in a certain space. It's time to pivot. The next key for reinventing your purpose as you grow by pivoting is to embrace evolution. A lot of times we have to shed old identities, old business models to make space for new opportunities, right? So I want you to look at change as a natural and a necessary part of your personal professional development. It's not an indication that you have failed. It's not an indication that something is wrong with you. Evolution is a constantly moving thing. I don't look like I did 50 years ago. I don't look like I did 25 years ago. I don't think like I did 30 years ago. That's a natural part of evolution. I've heard people talk about when people sign in yearbooks in high school, don't ever change. And I can remember writing that in people's yearbooks and thinking, I don't think we were actually saying, don't ever change, don't get taller, don't change how you dress. What we were usually referring to is some of those core fundamentals about that person. Maybe they were funny. Maybe they were smart. Maybe they were just made everybody feel welcome. It's those things that you love about the person that you're saying you don't want them to change. But even those things can change. But certainly the way you're doing something can be a natural. It can be natural for you to evolve into something else. Think about Oprah Winfrey and her journey. She was a TV anchor. When we first heard about Oprah, she had just left being a TV anchor. People that were from Chicago knew her then. When she became famous in the talk world space, she was no longer a TV anchor. That's an evolution. She's still telling great stories and still bringing great personalities to light. Even today, when she shifted off of her world famous talk show platform, and now she does different things. She's in movies and she produces movies and other content. She's evolving, right? Embrace your evolution and pivoting into those new spaces as a part of your journey. The fourth key to reinventing your purpose as you grow is to take inventory of your skills and passions. Look at what you are passionate about and the skills you have gained along the way, and let those be building blocks for your next chapter. I am a perfect example of this. I recently started teaching business owners how to do their own marketing using Canva and other platforms so that they can look like they hired a professional without hiring a professional. Now, here's the thing. I have been doing graphic design for no less than 25 years. 25 years. I know you thought I was younger than that. No, 25 years I've been doing graphic design, branding. I've been producing events. I've been doing marketing, all of these things. But I never once until this year decided to teach other people how to do it. I am passionate about that. I hate a rinky-dink flyer or some old freaky font that you can't read or some old crazy bland social media post, even though I've been guilty of them myself being lazy. I put those out, but I know better. And it bothers me when I see a great event or a great communication go south because people don't know how to do branding and marketing. It bothers me. I'm passionate about it. Most people don't lose sleep over it. I'm like, oh no, not another bad marketing situation. So I am passionate about that, yet I'm just now really taking inventory of that and saying I can help people to create amazing transformations in their business by teaching them what I know for 25, 30 plus years. Because I really didn't start 25 years ago. I started more formally 25 years ago. But it was before that when I actually first started moving in that space. Look at what you love doing. I love graphic design. I love media packages. I love creating beautiful, clear communication. I love that stuff. Don't fight what you love. Don't fight what you love. Embrace it. Embrace it as a natural part of your journey and be willing to pivot into quite possibly teaching others what you know. That is one of the greatest cheat codes to building a prosperous business that's based on your purpose, is to teach other people what you know. Because guess what? You are an expert. To the extent that you know something that somebody else doesn't know but wants to know, that makes you an expert. You are an expert in whatever it is that you know. You don't have to go to school for it. You don't need a credential for it. You don't need a certification for it. If you know it, that's all you need. If you know how to do it, if you know how to teach others or can show other people how to do it, you're an expert. I tell people that all the time. You don't need no letters behind your name to tell you what you know. There's somebody out there that wants to learn it from you. Take inventory of your skills and passions. And please, man, please, sir, lean into it and make that pivot. Stop doing what you feel like you have to do and do what it is that you love. Life is so short and time is up for just doing what I got to do just to get by. Who's on the earth? Who is on this earth going through all we have to go through as people, as women, as Black people, as business owners, as Americans, as whatever group you are with? Who's going through all that just to get by? I know I'm not. I want to thrive and do great things. And we can do that when we are in our thing, the thing that makes us come alive. So you saw me get all hyped up. I'm calm though. I'm calm. I'm back. The next key, I think we're on key number 5, is to reframe failure as feedback. I talk about this one all the time. We often, as people, as human beings, are so hard on ourselves. We think about ourselves in terms of failure. When something doesn't go the way we thought it should, the way we envisioned it, the way we planned it, we think we have failed. Instead of looking at those times when things don't go well as just feedback, as just lessons. That's all they are. It tells you more ways to not do it. I think it's, and I don't come for me in the comments, but I think it's the guy that invented the light, Thomas Edison. I think he tried 10,000 different ways before he came up with the incandescent light bulb that we know today. 10,000. What have you done 10,000 times and got basically a no on it? Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken, went around, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but went around hundreds of times and was told no, 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 for his famous recipe, only to then explode and be a worldwide chain. And he was an older man when he did that. But if he had quit after the first failure, which meant somebody told him no, if Thomas Edison had quit after the first even 50 versions of the light bulb and said, oh, I can't invent light, or not invent light, but I can't corral light into this little piece of glass. I can't do that. If he'd given up, we'd be sitting here in the dark, right? But they said, no, this just tells me all the ways to do it. He learned 10,000 ways not to do it, 10,000 tries. What have you tried 10,000 times? They talk about J.K. Rowling, all the rejection she got from all these different publishers, yet Harry Potter is one of the most successful franchises in entertainment. This is after multiple people told that person no. So reframe your failures. We're not going to use that word. That's the new F word. I know there's a 4-letter F word. That's not the most vulgar F word. The most vulgar F word is failure. And you using that word to describe what you're doing just because it didn't work the way you thought it would. Big deal. Try again, learn from it. So every time something doesn't work out, I want you to do what they call a post-mortem. I kind of hate that term because it means after death, but do a post-mortem. Say what, like me and my daughter, we recently did a cooking class. And we did a little post-mortem. What went well? What do we want to change to make better for next time? When you frame it that way, you don't have to be down on yourself. Just say, okay, now I know what won't work. I won't do that again. What am I going to do the next time? Okay, our 6th, I think we're on our 6th key for reinventing your purpose as you grow is test before you leap. Now, this one I had to sit with for a minute because I often tell people you can get stuck in a vicious cycle of I'm getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready, and you never actually jump out there. So I don't want you to do that. But experiment with new ideas or directions before committing. So please hear me when I say do not use this as an excuse to not get going. Don't use testing as a place to hide, okay? But I want you to test some things. Maybe you can do it as a side project. Maybe it's a freelance gig. Maybe it's a short-term collaboration before you fully commit all of the time, because again, time is your most valuable asset. So if you're not sure if this next pivot will be a thing that you want, try it some kind of way. Volunteer somewhere to do it. Do a little bit of it before you fully commit to it. Experiment with your idea on a smaller scale. So if you've been thinking about transitioning from corporate America or from corporate HR to being a career coach, start by offering resume reviews or mock interview sessions on the side. That's just an example. Testing lets you gather feedback. It refines your approach and how you're going to do it, and it helps you build confidence before you make the full leap. But again, remember when I told you, you are an expert. So don't do it don't play with it too much. Don't do it for free too much. You don't need to do it for free that much or as a side gig that much, trying to prove yourself. You've already proved yourself in my HR example. You proved yourself in corporate America. You don't have to prove yourself as a career coach. You already got the goods. Jump out there. Whatever your pivot is you're thinking about making, go on and jump out there. But do some testing just to make sure you're going to love it as much as you think you will before you fully commit to it. Our next key to making that pivot and reinventing is to stay true to your core values. This is the best way for you to make sure that you are not going to end up making a mess out of things, right? When you make that pivot. If everything that you do goes through the filter of your core values, you will never, ever go wrong. Your core values, do you know what they are? If not, do a core values test. Send me an inbox or send me mj@melaниehunter.com and I can help you to identify your core values. I know what mine are. 2 of them are confidence and authenticity. Another one is freedom. The other 2 are adventure and wellness. Okay. If I am considering doing something in my professional life, in my personal life, I subconsciously run it through that filter. Does it help me to grow or expand into at least one of my core values? And if so, it's probably a yes. If it's not, it's a no. So if I'm considering a business deal and it holds me back, if it takes away my freedom, it's a no. And by freedom, it's the ability to move freely in the world without considering, can I afford it? Do I have the time? I want to do it, I'm going to do it. But if something's going to hold me back and hold my schedule in a certain way that I don't want it to hold it up, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no every single time, because one of my core values is freedom. One of my core values is confidence. So if there's a space where me stepping forward and moving with confidence and being myself, authenticity, being myself is not welcome, then I'm not welcome. That's just the bottom line. But if you don't know what your core values are, you can't make decisions based on them. So identify what your core values are and stay true to that. Any new direction you take needs to make sense in terms of your core values. So every business move I make, every professional move I make, I have to be able to move freely. I have to be able to work remotely, work from anywhere in the world, whatever that looks like for me. I have to be, that's how I know. If somebody wants me to come in person and do something every day, it's a no. It's an automatic no. I don't have to, well, how much are they? It's a no. It's a no, because I'm aligned with my core values. You need to have that kind of dogged, standing on business, determination, and commitment to your core values, because that's the way you will never feel cheated by life. You will always get what you want when you are true to yourself and what you really want. Our next key is, hope I didn't turn my camera off. Still learning my new platform here, is to communicate the pivot with confidence. Now, I want to spend a moment here, because if truth be told, and we were 100% honest with ourselves and keep it 100, keep it a buck, keep it a bill, a lot of what we do and don't do is based on what we think other people think about us. And if you want to deny it, you can deny it. That's okay if you're shaking your head, but it's true. A lot of it is fears about how people will perceive your change in direction. I have a friend who was limiting themselves in their business and even in their home life because they didn't want their family to feel a certain way about how they live or what how they thought their money was or whatever that situation was. You need to be able to confidently explain how you're pivoting, not only to the people in your life, but to people in your business. And just know that if you're being true to yourself, you don't have to ever apologize. So you may have clients for whom you're no longer going to be their solution because you're pivoting to something different. You need to be able to confidently express that as, over the years, I realized my passion for helping people solve XYZ has expanded beyond XYZ to be ABC. And that's why I'm transitioning to blah, blah, blah. So you're acknowledging there's been a journey to get us here, but you're saying now the journey is changing, and you don't apologize for that. Your next greatest thing is going to be on the other side of you moving away from what you've been doing all along. So don't apologize for it. Communicate that pivot with confidence. Tell your family, I know up until now, I've been that resource. I've been that go-to person. It's where you're establishing boundaries. But now my needs have shifted and I will no longer be available for that. Here's how I'm going to show up differently. And you're not waiting to see, what do you think? You're just saying, you're just stating it. It's a statement with confidence, because this pivot aligns with where I want to go. This pivot aligns with who I am today. And I no longer have to apologize for being who I am. That's how you have to communicate. And sometimes you don't have to communicate it at all. Watch me work. Watch me work. That's how you move. Watch me work. And then the last key for pivoting and for reinventing your purpose as you grow through life is to play the long game, or to realize that you already are playing the long game. Pivots are part of a long journey. So reinventing yourself is not about abandoning where you were. That can make it really difficult when we think we're abandoning or leaving things behind. Sometimes you are leaving people and things behind, but in general, it's not about abandonment, but about building on it to create something even more aligned with your purpose, or aligned with your purpose in a different way, because nothing has only one facet. Everything's multifaceted. It at least has two sides to it, but there are many facets to a three-dimensional person like yourself, and a purpose for a person like yourself is also multidimensional. So being more aligned with your purpose, or realigned or aligned with a different side of your purpose, that's appropriate. Reinvention is never just one and done. There are so many entrepreneurs, myself included, who have reinvented themselves so many times. And I used to feel bad. I used to feel like people are going to think I'm crazy. Every time you look up, I'm doing something different. But here's the thing. Nobody's perfect, and we're all on a journey. Nothing I did in the past was wrong for me. It was right at the time. And now something else is right. I don't have to stay the same. I can and will evolve my entire life. I don't ever want to get to the place where I've arrived. How boring is that? Then what? What's the purpose to continue to live if there's nothing new to pursue, if there's nothing new to be or to change into? So look at the long game. I'm going to be here till I'm at least 106 years old. I've already claimed it. And if I turn out to be wrong, who's going to check me, right? But because I'm going to be here 100, I'm not even halfway through my life. I don't want to be doing this 40, 50 years from now. This meaning this exact iteration of what I'm doing. I'll be doing something always to help people to step into their purpose and pursue it with persistence, just because I'm so passionate about that. But it's going to look different. Sometimes I'm helping businesses. Sometimes I'm helping individuals. There's so many different ways that what I am passionate about and my purpose on this earth, so many different ways that it can be lived out. So every year, every month, I'm looking for ways to tweak it and evolve. So know that you're playing a long game. Pivots are stepping stones on a broader journey. They are not the destination. The journey ends when you die. The journey ends when you die. And if you call forth your death sooner by deciding to stop evolving, I hate that for you. Because when you stop moving, when you stop having a reason to get excited, that's when death comes. Figurative death and literal death. How many people retire and then sit at home and die soon after that because they don't have a purpose that they're working towards? So I don't ever want to retire. I would just keep doing different iterations of things I love. Why would I retire from things I love? Retirement was created. The concept of retirement was created to get people to do jobs that they hate for 40 years. It's like, okay, do it for this long, then you can quit and we'll give you some money and pay you then. No, I'm going to do what I love now. I'm going to do what I love today. I'm going to do it always. I think about Les Brown, who I believe is in his 80s. Amazing. One of the greatest motivational speakers on the planet. He's not retiring. Retire. He doesn't ever have to retire. He does what he loves. He turns on the camera. He goes to the event. He's there and he talks. As long as he can talk, as long as he can write, he can continue to inspire the masses in some form until he draws his last breath. Why would he retire? He's doing it the way he wants to do it. Do your life the way you want to do your life. And then you don't have to be looking for, well, when do I get to stop? Stopping isn't the goal. Pivoting so you can continue to do more of what you love and do it in different ways and interesting ways. That's the goal. That is the goal. And so many of you are entrepreneurs. You are out here trying to get the word out about your business and the amazing products and services you provide. Maybe you're hearing crickets on your social media. Maybe, you're spending money on ads and nothing is happening. There's no return on your investment. I want to invite you to send yourself or your team member to my upcoming Canva bootcamp. MelanieHunter.com/Canva has all the details. We're going to do 9 lunch and learn sessions to get your team member to know how you can spread the word about your amazing business or the one you're going to pivot into like a professional, but without having to hire a professional. I also have just rolled out today my small business DIY MBA program, and I'm enrolling 15 students just in this beta program. MBA does not stand for Master of Business. What is it? Master of Business or something. Why can't I figure out what MBA stands for? I have one. Anyway, my MBA is about marketing, it's about branding and automation. These are the 3 keys that can make your business explode if you know how to do them. So if you're interested in being in my DIY MBA, that's a membership and that's different. You can just email me at mj@melaniehunter.com. But if you want to go through my 9-hour boot camp, one's coming up next month. Go to MelanieHunter.com/Canva. All the details are there, or you can inbox me, or you can email me, and I can get you going. I want all of you, as you pivot, to be able to get the word out about what you're doing. There's nothing worse than having a great product and service, but nobody is taking advantage of it. And I want to help you to thrive in that space. So I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, on our next episode of Persistent Purpose with MJ Hunter, take care, be blessed. Consider to continue to pursue your purpose with persistence, because the world needs you and what you were created to do and to be.